Do you like sliding when you want to stop? Like when you jump, do you want to jump or do you want to sort of like do one of these? Are you walking on the solid ground or are you on ice all the time?
Right. Do you want your character to look like it's roller skating through the physical space?
Yeah, yeah.
If so, we have a game for you.
Want to
It's
play
called
roller
Ashes.
derby? Yeah, if
It's
not,
called
fuck
Ash.
off.
Yeah, I was watching a video a couple weeks ago. It was a guy talking about the MMO genre and how some of the challenges that it faces, and he brought up a really good point, which I had never thought about before, which is part of the reason MMOs like are struggling now, or at least don't have like the same cultural imprint that they did back in the height of like WoW, is that there's so many ways to communicate online, and back then like it was
Mm,
there were very limited social spheres on the internet, and so
true,
MMOs created an arena for that, right? Like
true.
you would spend a lot of time just in major cities, like talking to people or talking in guild chat and running loops around Ironforge, or like, if you were like farming something, like half the game was just like talking to people,
Yeah,
and that, you know, you can blame looking for raid or looking for group or whatever, and like some of the matchmaking tools for that, but like ultimately this guy was saying like the internet has changed in that time, and there's other venues and other ways to like communicate with people. Like there's just not really a need to like sit in an MMO idle and like use it as a chat tool anymore, and that takes away one of the huge value propositions of like some of the original MMO games.
yeah. I mean, I see that. I think yes and no. I think like even back when WoW was like young, like there was AOL Instant Messenger before that. There were chat rooms. There was
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, 4chan was been around for fucking ever, and I know 4chan and WoW had like early ties with, people doing like raids on each other through. They would like set it up through 4chan and then go like raid a funeral or whatever. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so I also think that like the amount of time, so WoW's been around for a long time. We both started when we were like teenagers, essentially. So I think we had more time back then. I think kids now that have that time aren't playing WoW because there's better games. So yeah, that's like an interesting take on it. I mean, like the social aspect is unavoidable in WoW, but it's like, yeah, we didn't have like the texting we did. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like there's a bunch of factors. I
Yeah.
think that that's relevant though for sure.
I mean, I guess the question is, can some of the new MMO players that are coming out soon, like New World is coming out in a month. It's an Amazon game. Can New World or like Ashes of Creation, which is made by some super hardcore original MMO dev,
Yeah. Yeah.
can these games save the MMO genre? Can it bring it back to its like former glory, or is
No.
the genre just kind of like outdated at this point?
I think it's outdated. I think it's outdated, dude, because like yeah, like I think like what you were saying earlier, the social aspect of it is it's not completely gone, but it's diminished
Mm-hmm.
because it's so much easier. Like if you want to connect with like-minded people, you can join a Discord server or whatever. Like I think yeah, and that was a big draw of WoW originally. It's hard to say, dude, because like the idea behind an MMO is that like it's like an alternate life in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you live the life of this character, which means that you just spend a shit ton of time in the game. And it's hard to imagine any game being that good that people would want to sacrifice the current state of gaming, which is pretty fucking good, for one game, like people did,
Right.
like we have done for WoW, and
Mm-hmm.
in a lot, like I have done for WoW for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been more diversified than me, but I think a lot of people are like me, where they play
Yeah.
WoW and maybe they dabble, but like
Yeah.
WoW is the game. I don't think that's it's hard to imagine that. I think yeah,
Yeah.
like it needs a step forward or it needs something else. But yeah, like as a genre, someone thinking that something like World of Warcraft is going to come along again is uh, I can't see it.
Yeah, it's interesting, like thinking about like LFG and LFR, like some of the tools that people say took the social elements out of WoW. Like I would argue, like what were they supposed to do?
Yeah, no,
because
exactly.
people were ultimately just going to create add-ons and websites to solve these problems. Like,
Yeah.
making a game artificially hard, like Path of Exile, for example. I played a lot of that this last league, and it was super super fun. And one of the things about Path of Exile is there's no auction house, so it's incredibly difficult to trade your shit. And the workaround for that is that there are like websites that have been set up where you can like list something in a tab and then post on a forum post, and then that gets posted on basically a internet based auction house, and then someone whispers you the price, and then you invite them to the group, and then you meet in your stash and you pull it out and you trade them, and then they trade you the thing, and that's how you trade. Like, that is a auction house transaction that the developers refuse to put in the game because they're like, oh, that would make the game too easy. But I think that that's a fucking cop out. That's some bullshit, dude. I'm sorry. That's just bullshit. Like, make your game, like, if you want to make your game hard, then innovate. Don't go backwards. Like, that's some nostalgia bullshit. And people fall into that a lot with WoW, and they blame some of those like quality of life features for like what ruined the game. I don't believe that. I think what ruined the game was lack of innovation, not making life easier. Because the raids in WoW are harder than they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the game is like super easy necessarily. No. Like, the game was not hard. Like, you look at what people have done in Classic WoW and in Burning Crusade. Like, they cleared some of the original raids like on day one with level 50s in the group in full green armor. Like, all the people who were claiming that the classic WoW experience was more difficult than the current were exposed as frauds.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Like, so the nostalgia is bullshit. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I try to think, what could save the MMO genre? Like, what would a publisher need to do to make people interested in MMOs again? Like, how does a game need to reinvent the genre to like bring people in the way like Fortnite did for Battle Royale, or like you know, like Call of Duty continues to do? Like, they, you know, even though Call of Duty kind of repackages the same shit, like they're always succeeding. Like, they're always the best shooter, you know?
Sure. Well, I mean, I would argue that WoW is a success still, you know. I don't know the numbers, but given the content updates and like how often they're pushing out expansions, it definitely is still making them money. It's not making them as much money as it made them 10 years ago. I don't know, dude. Like, it's hard to say. It's like, it might just be like a flash in the pan type of gaming, you know, where you are able to live a certain way, and because of that you can play a certain type of game, and then when that type of living ceases for you, which is most people transitory, like you're just growing up or something like that, you're going to have to adjust the games that you play if you want to keep playing games at all. And I think a lot of people don't even keep playing games, and the ones that do, well, and that's like what you were just saying with the way that WoW has tried to kind of like help cater to that audience. And I think they've done a great job of it. We've both talked shit on LFR. And like, you listen to Asmongold and you would think LFR is like the death of the game. But Asmongold has zero perspective on how most of the people playing the game actually live. You know, like Asmongold, streamer or no streamer, money or no money, I think would be in his mom's attic playing World of Warcraft. So so his perspective is fucked up. He was a combination of luck and skill and all these things that led him to this place that he is, but he also is who he is, and he would still be playing WoW without all of those things. So it's like you take him as like the prophet of WoW, but like he's spouting things off that like don't apply to most people, you know, like LFR.
I agree.
The innovations WoW has done, if anything, have just extended the life of the game.
Yeah,
you know, it's like maybe it's in its dying gasps. I don't know, but I think they're doing what they can to like give it life support and make it feel still fresh, and like you can the catch up and all that stuff. Like, those things are absolutely necessary given the state of games. Like, necessary.
It makes it better. You know, I was listening to someone say like, well, we don't want seasonal MMOs the way like Path of Exile or Diablo do their games. I'm like, yeah, we do. Like, I disagree with that. I think it's actually cool, because then you can actually play other games. Yeah. If the game is not seasonal and it literally takes you 2 years, like this linear progression to just do anything in the game, and that's all you can play, I think way less people play WoW. And I think it's way less fun because that's just an outdated model. I think the seasonal system where it's like, all right, well, I mean, this expansion, like the content patches have been slower, but in the past it's like every like 6 months or whatever, 8 months, like a big content patch drops. It's like, all right, cool. I'll subscribe for like 2 months and play it hard, and then once I get my character to a power level where I start getting like diminishing returns on like time versus item level, then I'll unsubscribe for like 4 months, and then I'll come back for the next one. Like, that's okay, dude. That's okay. And in that 4 months, maybe you don't play any games, or maybe you play something else. Like, that's fine. And so I guess the answer to the question, can Ashes of Creation, which is trying to be like more of a hardcore MMO, or can New World like save the genre? The answer is no. Like, the only game that's going to save the MMO genre is World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I agree. Or something very similar, or an MMO that's like way pared down. A very simplified MMO that's much more of like a social thing, but in an MMO. And I didn't play
like a fantasy genre.
Well, something like
are you talking about like Minecraft or Roblox or something like
I don't. Yeah. I've actually never played Minecraft, but yeah, like I think in that realm, which is like a simple MMO, basically. Yeah. Simple and like
simple tasks and things like that.
Yeah, and like not a crazy amount of story. You don't have to like understand the world. You're just there and it's like Pokemon WoW, or like Pokemon MMO type thing. Like you're running around catching Pokemon and you're in an MMO or whatever the fuck is the equivalent. Like I think it does sound like fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love a Pokemon MMO, dude. That would be fucking.
I think there is someone did like a fan version of that, if I remember correctly, which is probably banned by Nintendo now. But
dude, give me like 2D, keep it simple.
Yeah, I think if anything's gonna save the MMO genre, it's gonna be like Blizzard doing another MMO that's not WoW, but like takes all the learnings from WoW.
Like StarCraft MMO, would that be successful? I mean, like that seems so obvious that like they haven't. Yeah, but they haven't done it, so there must be a reason.
But the thing is, like, does it work with sci-fi?
Right.
Like I don't know. I forget when we had this conversation, but I was talking to James about this. Like, part of what makes WoW feel so big and fun is like you can travel from Stranglethorn Vale to like Ghostlands. Like you can fly a massive distance in that world.
Yeah.
Once you start getting to planets and like load screens or worse, just like idly flying in a ship for like a period of time, like through like the vacuum of space. It doesn't feel as expansive. No. And that's what we were talking about in a previous video. Like that's part of the problem with like leaving Azeroth and WoW, right? Like you start to feel very disconnected from what you. So yeah, I feel like MMOs kind of do have to stay in like the sword and sorcery world to be effective.
I agree. Like everyone in the same place, unless like the shuttle thing gave me like a funny idea though. Like unless the shuttle's kind of like the fairies in WoW where you have to like catch them. And like you have to catch the shuttle, and then it's like a 1 hour shuttle ride. But like there's like mini games on the shuttle, and if you it lands for like 5 minutes, and if you're not there, then you fucking go all the way back or something. Like dude, some shit like that.
That's all right. That's an interesting idea. Like what if like instead of like a major city, it's like the shuttle. Like you're on a shuttle, and like everyone's on the shuttle, and everyone's going to a different destination. Right, so like everyone, like you have to load into this common area, which is like this shuttle that takes you, or this frigate or whatever that like takes you to another planet.
Yeah,
we could spawn at the same time, and we've set different destinations. So technically, we're both on the shuttle, but we're going to different places. Yeah, but we're stuck on the shuttle for a certain amount of time, and then we can like depart after a certain amount of time and get off on our planet. But in the meantime, there's like common areas and shit to do.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Thank God we're not game publishers.
Thank God, dude. That's because it's terrible. It's a terrible idea.
It's horrible.
It would never work.
It's a horrible game, yeah.
All right, time. My pod is leaving. Time to go. Yeah,
It's like a
I don't know.
riverboat.
Yeah,
You're just like gambling and
that's what I'm
like,
picturing. That's literally what I'm picturing. I'm picturing like
it's
slot machines.
I mean, the reality is like half the shuttle would just turn into like erotic RP for like
Yeah.
immediately, and then there would just be like rooms that like you can't like teenage like kids are not allowed to go into
Yeah.
because it's just not appropriate.
That's true. The whole game is just a shuttle. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, I think is the MMO genre even worth saving? I don't know. I don't care, dude. Like
I don't care either.
it's fun, but like maybe they don't have to be MMO anymore. Maybe they could just be like open world RPGs with like a multiplayer element, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I don't know the history of like whatever, but kind of what you were saying earlier about it being a social aspect. I would guess back when WoW first came out, there weren't that many games where you could talk like you can in WoW, you know, where it was so easy to and necessary to communicate to like sort of like succeed and like progress. Like games nowadays, it's like a given. Like if you play a game and it's not online or you don't have the ability to communicate with people, it's weird. You're kind of like, oh, that's strange, you know? So I'm just here by myself.
Yeah.
Whereas like every game's like not an MMO, but every game is like a social. I don't. There's like a new word that needs to come out for what games are now. It's like a, you know, like a some kind of. I don't even know,
Like a
societal
platform.
like it's like it exists but it doesn't exist, you know, like it's like another. It's a weird kind of like realm you enter where you just talk to random people, and like that's just every game.
But you don't need to talk to anyone in most games anymore.
I think you talk to people in most games that you play, do you not?
I mean, do you ever talk to anyone in WoW?
No, dude, I just do.
Like you
I
just
do
queue
LFR.
dude, you queue up for like even if you do like Mythic Plus, which is something that like takes some level of coordination.
Yeah,
Basically, you just apply to the group.
yeah.
The only thing you really need to say is like hi if you feel like it. You don't even need to say that after the invite. You run the group. If shit's going bad, then someone just leaves right away, and then the group disbands. Like there's no one's like working on anything.
Hey
or, like,
guys,
talking about strategies. Either everyone in the group is on the same page and knows what the fuck they need to do, or the group fails immediately, like the first wipe or the second wipe, and then you just don't complete the dungeon. Like that's just that is, and I think that's most gaming experiences, with the exception of maybe like first person, like team based first person shooters, where like the communication is essentially just like people calling you racial slurs the whole time. Yeah, like I can't really think of any other like social games that exist. I don't know, maybe I'm into the wrong genres, but like it just
no, I think you're right though. I think I'm like living in some sort of like utopia where I think all games are like very social now and everyone's getting along, but that's just not the case. I'm sure like
honestly, maybe like kids games like Roblox and Minecraft. Maybe
I don't
those
know.
games have those elements to them.
Or is it less? Like were we like the
know.
heyday of people communicating online and like it's just I feel like it has gone down.
Back in my day, yeah, it is like
dude.
like you had to like talk to people. Like that's another thing that this guy brought up actually about the communication. We're going in so many different directions with this, but it's fine.
I don't even know what this video is anymore.
Yeah, that's another thing this guy brought up in this video was like the time commitment to doing a dungeon back then was so long that by the time you got like 3/4 of the way through a dungeon, if someone was failing at a mechanic, it would actually be a better use of your time to like try to teach them how to play the game.
Oh yeah.
Than to like disband the group and try to start over again.
Yeah.
Because like I think of like Dire Maul runs. Did you ever run Dire Maul?
I did.
Dude, that was the biggest pain in the ass.
Brutal.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Because you had to sit in major cities, like just posting that you're looking for a group forever. And then once you get one, the travel time to the dungeon was, what, 30 minutes?
If you could even get there past the gigantic elite trolls that are guarding the entrance. Yeah. It's
or like PvPers who were trying to kill anyone headed there along the way. Like it took forever to even get there.
Yeah.
And then once you got there, you realize pretty quickly, like, oh, this person like doesn't know how to play the game at all, and and you're just hoping, like, please God, let them be able to like figure out the mechanics when we're teaching them.
Yeah, Yeah. No, it's
crazy. But I would argue like that's not a better gaming experience. Like that's really not a better version of WoW in my mind.
No, I mean we're just nostalgic right now. Back then it
Yeah.
was very frustrating. You were like this fucking
Incredibly
motherfucker,
dude. Because someone like you would have one guy that just wasted like 2 hours of your evening.
Yeah.
Now the 2 hours is more valuable because you don't have a lot of just 2 hour chunks to like
Right.
throw away.
Yeah.
But when you're a teenager, you have like unlimited.
Yeah.
But even then, it was frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Times change, man. I think everything's gotten better. Now that I'm thinking back, it's all gotten better.
I mean, I would argue life in general gets better. Like unless you really fuck up, like things just get better.
Yeah. I definitely don't think there's any chance that a new MMO that is trying to like lean into the old ways of things is gonna like do anything good for the genre.
No, it's
only gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's an absurd premise. Like anyone that thinks like what they really want is classic WoW, so let's release that 2.5 years ago. Fuck, like imagine the guy that was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's give him classic WoW back. And all 300 people that are still playing.
I think it was in spite. I think because so many people in the community, so many like old like idiots were like playing on private servers and like reliving the glory days of like when they,
totally.
I don't even know what glory days they were reliving, but
no, I agree though.
I think it was like, oh, you guys think you want this? All right, let's see.
This is what you want.
Yeah.
And the game was terrible. Like I remember you like trying to get me to play Burning Crusade a couple months ago, and I was like, I was almost feeling it, and then I like remembered Burning Crusade, and I was like, it took me like 7 months to get my fast flying. Like, why the fuck? I'm not going back, and that was like 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
at like minimum.
I heard like 2 weeks in, it was impossible to get heroic groups because no one wanted to tank, which
dude.
It's like because shit was like it wasn't that it was harder back then. It was just like not well made.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like statistical values weren't balanced correctly.
Right. You can get like one shot.
Yes, you could get one shot. And like now stuff doesn't one shot you. There will be periods where like a pack does like crazy damage to you, but but Blizzard knows how to program it to like where it's like, all right, everything will take everyone down to like 20%.
Exactly.
But then there's a period of time before it does any more damage where like the healer can get people up.
Right.
Back then they weren't that sophisticated. You just die, and then you just keep throwing time at this thing. So yeah, I mean, I as much as like it's enticing because I have a lot of great memories of playing Burning Crusade. Yeah, and same. Like watching you raid, and like I was over doing my thing. We're sharing a dorm at the time. I played like 5 minutes of an orc warrior on vanilla. Like literally, I started the first quest, and I collected like 2 items, and I was like, "Fuck this, dude! No way, absolutely no way am I doing this with my life." Yeah, no, I did that on like a human. I think it was a human warrior or a human mage, maybe. Yeah, and I killed like 3 wolves, and I was like, nope. No. I've done this. There's no chance. This is awful. Yeah, it's so much better now. It is so much better.